working with large numbers of contacts, you may eventually see some duplicate contacts in your list. In this video, I want to show you how you can use the Scan for Duplicates tool to remove unwanted duplicate records. To access this tool, locate the Tools button in the left navigation and click it. Then click the Database Tools button at the top to filter out everything except for Database Tools options. From here, locate the Scan for Duplicates button and just click that as well. This launches the Scan for Duplicates window, and what you're doing here is determining which fields you should use to determine matches or duplicate records. You should use these fields to identify positive matches. For example, if you use contact only, this won't give you genuine matches because there may be multiple contacts who share the same name. Additionally, if you have the same person listed as two contacts, but maybe they're listed as Charlie on one record and Charles on another, then ACT will not mark that as a duplicate record. I typically like to use email address as a duplicate identifier, but this can also be problematic if you have records that don't contain an email address. So the best result for me is to do a combination of two fields. In the first field, I'm going to use contact to match on a person's name. And then in the second field, I'm going to use email. So if their name matches and then their email address matches, to me, that's a duplicate record. Now, you may prefer to use other settings because there truly is no perfect way to go about this. But I'm going to click OK now to proceed. And if there are any duplicate records to be found, ACT will let us know that duplicate records have been found. So I'm going to click Yes so that we can start combining them. This opens the Copy and Move Contact Data Wizard, so let's click Next to begin. And here I have two contacts who have the same name and email address. After reviewing this really quickly, I've determined that this is the same person, so I'm going to hold down my Shift button to make sure both of these contacts are selected. And now I'm going to click the Next button. ACT shows me a preview of the data for each of these two separate contact records, and here I need to decide which one to keep and which one to delete. I'm going to be copying data from one to the other, so it really doesn't matter too much which one I choose. I usually keep the one that has more content just so that there's less for me to copy. So in this case, I'm going to choose Copy Contact 2 to Contact 1, and then I'm going to click Next. On the next step, I can choose which fields to copy from the source to the target. So what I really need to do is locate any fields that the target is missing. And I'll do that by scrolling down, and I can see here the ID status field appears for my source but not my target. So I'm going to click that row and then click the Copy button to copy that data over. I'll do the same thing for the Referred By field. And as I scroll down, there doesn't appear to be any other fields that the target is missing. So I'm ready to move to the next step. In this next step, you can move data from the tabs listed here from the source to the target. Since I want to make sure I don't lose any data, I'm going to check all of these boxes and then click Next. Now ACT wants to know if it should delete the source record. And really, this is the whole point of my process here, to delete duplicate records. And so now that we've copied all the data from the source to the target, we can safely delete the source without fear of losing any data. So I'll make sure I have Yes, delete the source contact record from my database selected, and now I'll click Next one more time. ACT gives me one last warning to let me know that when I delete a contact, it cannot be undone. I'm going to click OK to continue. And now I'll click Finish to close this wizard. If I search for this contact now, his name is Robert Hall. I can see that there's only one Robert Hall record in my database. All of the contact data has been copied over, as well as any of the activities, histories, notes, and so on from the source to the contact record.